Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things we learnt from Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. I guess it's positive that we're not talking about another defeat at Stamford Bridge, but we should be talking about a win here. There's absolutely no if, buts, maybes all about it. Chelsea should have won this game. We had so many chances to score a goal. We did score a goal, but it was one of the 4 what I would consider big chance one-on-ones that Kai Havertz missed, and then it rebounds off of Alisson, who makes a good save and goes off of his hand into the back of the net, which I think summarises everything that's going on. We're going to talk in more detail about this one, but if you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button on 6 Things We Learn. It's a series I do after every single Chelsea game. So then, Bruno Saltor takes over at Chelsea versus one of the most experienced managers in the world in Jurgen Klopp. And by the end of it, we couldn't really separate just who did worse, to be quite honest. I don't think this game was an advert for the Premier League. I think, if anything, Chelsea versus Liverpool should become a 3 PM kickoff so that no one can watch it in the UK on a Saturday afternoon, because the quality of football was pretty damn shocking across the board, to be honest, from a Liverpool team who Jurgen Klopp is looking at it again and he's resting players right now due to fixture congestion, or Klopp is saying, look, this is where we're at right now. We've got players like Tsimikas playing, who just does not belong in a Liverpool shirt, makes a load of changes going forward too. And then even when he brings on Mo Salah and Andy Robertson, Liverpool don't ever really look dangerous. Whereas Chelsea, I think the lineup from Bruno was good, to be fair. We've gone with a 3-5-2, Kai Havertz and Joao Felix up front, Kante, Kovacic and Enzo Fernandez in the middle. And I think Chelsea didn't necessarily even dominate the midfield battle today. N'Golo Kante dominated the midfield battle today. We can get as excited as we want about the future with Enzo Fernandez, and of course, he is the future. Didn't have a bad game, but N'Golo Kante had an excellent game. It's sometimes difficult with 0-0s because a 0-0 against Liverpool, when we sacked a manager 48 hours ago, a clean sheet, we defended well, we limited their chance creation because of the way that we positioned ourselves. I thought Cucurella was good, Koulibaly was good, by the way, little bit of, in hindsight here, could have given a box to one of them, but I do go down a slightly more negative path with the boxes today, because overall, I think this game once more, despite sacking Graham Potter, there's a lot of people who think now that we sack Graham Potter, it means that we don't need to criticise the painstakingly, blindly obvious things that Chelsea still do wrong on a minute-by-minute, game-by-game basis. But we begin with a green box for the man who was by far and beyond the best player on the pitch tonight, and that was N'Golo Kante. Bruno, he forgot he could make substitutions, I think, because it's the first time he's ever been a manager. I'll let you off for that one this time, Bruno, because people getting mad at me on Twitter earlier for using capital letters in a tweet with anger about the fact he comes out and says the same things as Graham Potter about just how well we played in a 2-0 defeat to Aston Villa. But N'Golo Kante gets a green. He was everywhere, and it isn't just making the tackles in front of the defence, winning the ball back. It was carrying it forward as well. Progressive passes, chance creation. N'Golo Kante was that guy. So I think the more we see a midfield that includes both Enzo and Kovacic, not Kovacic actually, Enzo and Kante together, I think we're going to see that develop into a fruitful partnership between now and the end of the season. Mateo Kovacic somehow manages to get away with a box here. As I'm looking at the boxes that I've given, Kovacic was poor today, and I think between those 3 in the middle, he was the weak link. I think it would have made a bit more sense for Chelsea. Yes, we should have bought N'Golo Kante off because, having played 69 minutes, he's not been playing for 7 months. He shows his class, but we've got to remember that he needs to be eased back into this team gently, because at this moment in time, with N'Golo Kante, every time he goes out on the pitch, we're worried that he's going to pick up yet another injury just because of how prone he's become to picking up those injuries. So for Kovacic, he was poor, but Kante absolutely ran the show. He always seems to do so against Liverpool. And I think when you look at that Liverpool midfield, Curtis Jones plays football in slow motion. I don't know what this guy's doing in that Liverpool team. Fabinho could have arguably got a couple of yellows in this game, but Anthony Taylor's the referee. It's the only time I'm going to mention him, I think. And then Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson was bossing people around, but once again, I think Chelsea should have taken charge of this game through the middle more. I think Enzo, to be quite honest, he doesn't get a box as well, so you can start guessing who the rest of the boxes are. Enzo, I think, needed to take more of a lead role in this game. I think he needed to try and carry the ball more, get forward more. I think we were too nervous and tentative tonight. Box number 2, tentative, nervous, no excuse. Kai Havertz is a red. His finishing is criminal. It's abysmal. It's atrocious. It's astonishing, to use 3 A's, but not the kind of astonishing that we should be relating Kai Havertz to after he rounds a goalkeeper and scores a Champions League final winning goal. Havertz today had 4, in my opinion, must-score chances. That is just how bad this Liverpool team were. I would go as far as to say that this Liverpool defence is probably the worst I've seen at Stamford Bridge all season long. Yet we're still talking about 0 Chelsea goals. It is repetition of the same old story. Kai Havertz gets into a bit of form. We see goals in a couple of games, penalty included in that, but he's got to do so much better. And it wasn't just the finishing today that I saw as the problem. It was the physicality. It was the runs that he would make as the most forward man. If what we saw tonight is not the biggest proof in the world that Chelsea need to be spending 100 million potentially this summer on a striker, then I don't know what is. I think as much as a number 6 to free up Enzo moving forward, a defensive midfielder, that's important, but a striker is the number 1 priority because Kai Havertz cannot run the line. If Kai Havertz ends up staying at Chelsea, which I'd like to think there's still a quality player in there, or maybe it's just the Premier League. I don't know, but to have that many times when you're one-on-one with the goalkeeper and to do what the finishing he's done today, it's criminal. Chelsea should have won this game 4 or 5-0. It's as simple as that. Box number 3 is a green for the Rolls-Royce defending of Wesley Fofana. First half, 100% pass accuracy, most interceptions, most tackles won, and then in the second half, once again, he just shows that he is absolutely ready to run this back line for Chelsea. I thought all in all, Koulibaly, Cucurella and Fofana all did very well today. I thought they all played well. But Wesley Fofana is the standout. He gets forward in opportunities as well. He's not afraid to make, whether it's with or without the ball, a marauding run forward. And I think we've got to praise a clean sheet when a Liverpool team that finishes with Mo Salah on the pitch and Chelsea don't concede. There is positives to be had. But for the rest of the video, we've got to talk about Joao Felix here. I think Felix has got to be one of the most confusing footballers to rate and understand, because when he's got the ball, it's like the world stops and watches him and he does these magnificent things with it. His first touch is fantastic. His dribbling is fantastic. And I think he sees things that a lot of footballers just don't see. And I think that makes him a quality player. Finishing wise again today, though, very, very poor. And the biggest question with Joao Felix is, are Chelsea going to sign him? Is number 1. The fee that Atletico Madrid want, 80 million. What are we spending 80 million on? Is it more smart of Chelsea, business-wise, to just be like, look, this guy's never going to score the amount of goals we need him to score as the striker that Chelsea desperately need? We're signing Christopher Nkunku, who is a similar player to that of Joao Felix, but you've got goals with him as well. So I think Joao Felix is such a great player to watch, but at this moment in time, I don't know what we're going to be spending our money on, which is such a horrible thing. And I do think he's such a great footballer, but Chelsea need to prioritise that level of investment in other areas. Declan Rice, Victor Osimhen. So for Joao Felix, it's a yellow. Please let me know your thoughts on this player in the comments down below. Box number 5 is a red overall for finishing, because if Chelsea knew how to finish, we would have so many more points. We wouldn't be in the bottom half of the table. Graham Potter possibly might still be in a job, but all season long, our finishing has been beyond bad. It has just smelt the gaff out every single weak. Kai Havertz has 4 one-on-ones he's got to score. Mateo Kovacic, how this guy gets into a one-on-one in the first place is beyond me. But then that finish, to see that ball go over the bar, even Enzo at the last seconds of the game hits one just over. Every time we had a chance to challenge Alisson, we didn't. And the one time Kai Havertz forces Alisson into a save, it rebounds off of his hand. Like, move your arms out the way, mate. Like, you've got to anticipate that you're probably not going to finish because you just don't score these chances. Chelsea overall, the finishing is just too bad at this level. So we need reinforcements going forward. And like I keep saying, I think Chelsea need to find a way to optimise with wingers. Because at the moment, the positions we're getting into, if a Nagelsmann comes in, we're going to get into these positions so much more. And we need it to not be Mateo Kovacic, Kai Havertz being the ones on the end of the chances. We need to stop being so profligate in front of goal because we'd be in such a different position. And we'd be celebrating a Bruno win today if we could finish. And the reason I don't think we can finish is because of box number 6, confidence. Confidence is so incredibly low. I think in this match it's difficult to judge tactics. It's difficult to judge Chelsea's tactical performance, but I think relatively we did well against the Liverpool team who you don't know game by game what you're going to get. Yes, they lost 3 in a row. At least they got a point for themselves today coming to Stamford Bridge. But confidence is so low. And confidence is so low because we've had so many recurring issues. Now the manager's been fired. It's time that Chelsea start converting this into results, into performances. We're not playing atrociously. But the moment we get into the final third of the pitch, it just all goes out the window. And I think all of that comes down to confidence. But anyway, going to wrap up the 6 things we learned here. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. Please subscribe to GBFC. Loads of content coming out tomorrow. Things are starting to develop in the hunt for a new manager. So stay tuned for that one. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. No goals, not much to chat about, but so much to chat about. All in one go. Come on, you Blues.